Hello everyone, my name is Rodrigo. I will start to talk about starting engineering inside Ansible. But the idea here is focus inside of the network, okay? Then I try to talk about automation motivation that I'm starting inside of the Ansible. So I will try to explain more about Ansible. It's a free automation, okay? There is something like that you need to make this. I will try to explain something about the network CLI, that it's most people use this, and the netconf, Yang, RESTCONF. And after that, I will try to show something about my demo here, okay? Then the introduction. So I'm a CCE, so it's a native CLI. Then all day I try to access some devices or each one and try to execute the configuration. So for me, when I finish my CCIE, I try to verify on the market or something like that. What's my challenge to verify which filter that needs to learn more. So I will start to learn more Linux, virtualization, and programmability, and verify that Ansible is growth inside of this automation. Then I try to verify inside of the community what's happened, or verify what's the best idea to make it to do this. My motivation to start that regarding two options, okay? It's a cloud scale because there are a lot of the devices that you need to execute the configuration, for example. So I put here an example 1,000 network device that you need to make the configuration. My case here, it's a multiple operation system. So inside of the Cisco, there is a lot of the system operation system. So there is a iOS, iOS XR, iOS XE, NXOS, and ASOS. So it's a different configuration that you need to execute inside of the CLI. Okay? So if you are a specialist inside of the NXOS, it's a different CLI when you execute on XE. Okay? So sometimes it's so huge to make a script and execute in each one, okay? Then today, for example, do you have a small team? Then people that need to make a lot of changes inside of the environment, but there is a small team. If you have automation there, it's better to execute in our time window, for example, to make a rapid deployment, because nowadays, several new data centers we will create per year, for example. The another is enterprise scale. That's a repetitive task that needs to do. For example, change NTP servers inside of the devices, or need to configure SNMP, for example. But you have a lot of devices and need to do all things. Then it's better to make this automation inside of this environment, okay? I put here just an explanation about the Ansible. So Ansible is an open source community, but it's sponsored by Red Hat, okay? And the idea here is to make a simplest way to automation your IT, okay? In this application life cycle, you can do from servers to the cloud, to the containers, or everything in between. And the most important here that I put, it's agents. You're not necessary to apply or configure remote devices about the client, okay? So the language that you need to use, it's YAML, so it's easier than use this. So why I choose Ansible, because it's agentless. It's not necessary to install client on the hosts or in your network devices. So serving the support team already using Ansible because, for example, you need to make develop our Docker containers or something like that. So it's more quickly to make this. So community vendor drive, it's so good because if you verify on the documentation, there are lots of the modules that you can use. So the vendors will develop some models and insert of the Ansible in order to help the people or the community to work on this. So in order to put a definition inside of the Ansible, you have a user, you have the playbook, and you have the orchestration engineer. So in this engine, you have the inventory host file, you have the model, you have the API, and you have the plugins. So all things that you have this, you use inside of your device by SSH. Some people told me, it's only use SSH. No, you can use Telnet, for example. You can use SNMP, for example. So you have more capability to use the models inside of the Ansible by SSH. Because I believe that all people here know about the SSH. There's an encrypted that you can access our device. So it's better to work inside of this. Okay. Here, I just put an explosion about this. So you have the inventory on the green. So you have the models inside of the playbook. And after that, you have a specific file, Ansible config, that you can put as a default library. So you have a semi configuration there that you need to execute both. So when you put our playbook, all things you execute by Python. Okay? So the library behind of the Ansible automation, all things is in Python. Okay? So all you will access some device by SSH and execute something. Another square, I have an idea that you have a different play inside of the playbook because you can execute a different tasks inside of the playbook, and the way that you execute, it's the same. Here, just an explanation about the playbook. So in blue square, you have totally playbook. Inside of this, do you have the play and do you have the task? Here, I'm not sure if the picture is good, but anyway, on the red square, I have, for example, idea to install and start Apache. So after that, inside of the task, you verify if the service is good or not. So you can verify the states of the service. On the other side, I put just an example regarding a folder that you create inside of the Ansible, because you have specific folders that you can create in order to verify what's the best idea to segregate your codes. So there is a rules that you can verify, for example, look up CSV information. So do you have a lot of information inside of the CSV file, and you get at all the variables and put inside of the specific tasks. So after that, you can use those variables. So it's a Jinda template. It's another language that you need to create. For example, if you create a loop inside of the configuration, something like that. If you have 48 ports inside of the switch, you need to configure all the ports. So you can create by Jinda template and execute the same configuration in all ports at the same time. So it's so perfect to make this. About the YAML in structure that Ansible work. So it's a dictionary that you put inside of this list of the items or key value pairs that you can make in your file. So I put on an example here just to clarify about this. For example, you have the name. So inside of the name, you have your name. In this case, Rodrigo. Your job, your skill, or employee, it's true or false. So you can create a specific tasks or variables inside of this. Here, just an example that the networking. So the community is growth, and you have a lot of vendors that work now. So I put something here. For example, Arista, Cisco, Juniper, Cumulus, Citrix, Lenovo. So there are 40 network platforms that you support inside of the Ansible, and you have more vendors inside of this. Here, it's a difference when you execute Ansible inside of the network devices and when you execute on the hosts, for example, Windows or Linux. Why? When you execute on the network devices, you have the control node, okay? So the control node will execute the Python code. So after that, you access the device by the netconf, RESTCONF, or network CLI, and execute some configuration on the device. So the Python code is controlled by node control. And it's different when you use on the Linux or Windows, because when you execute Ansible, will access the device, for example, and execute Python code in the remote device. So it's totally different when you using network environment. Okay. Here, just an example about the module drive programmability. So you have the standard protocol that needed to make this. For example, netconf, RESTCONF, gRPC, and you have the young data models. So about this, you can execute the configuration or verify, for example, the operations inside of the filters of the device, QoS, BGP, ASL. Here, an example about the netconf. It's there is a RFC inside of this, so you can execute by get config or add config. So here there is some steps that need to make in order to access your device. Okay, so you need to connect on the device and say hello. When the agent respond about the capabilities. What I mean capabilities? What's the library that I have? For example, I have a ETF that the RFC respond or something like that. Okay. So after that, the manager or the node control execute a message inside of the agent. You receive your reply by the process. Okay. Here is about a RESTCONF. So RESTCONF, you can execute by HTTPS or HTTP, but in new RFC, only HTTPS. So you don't have more HTTP. So this idea that it's better because you can execute by browser, for example, and access the different APIs inside of the device. For example, you can put, you have post, delete, and patch. Okay. Some devices there is available to work inside of the young data model, but it depends if you have a legacy network, for example, you don't have all capabilities to work in this. And the data model that you work in this is JSON or XML. Here, just compare about the RESTCONF, netconf. It's something like that, but you have some differences on the deep dive if you use. But if you use RESTCONF inside of the get, netconf get and get config, post, edit, put, operation about creating and replace, for example, patch and delete. So I will make now a demo. Okay, all the codes that I execute here, it's inside of the GitHub. Okay, if you have some people that need to access a device in order to make a test, I use sometimes a sandbox of the Cisco that has a different device that can test this. In my case, I use an on-premises simulator. It's a EVNG. And I use different libraries in order to execute some things, because I don't have this inside of the Ansible, but I have additional library on the community. So it's easy to install. For example, pip install NTC Ansible or something like that. Okay. So here I have my demo. So just to explain, I will execute some tasks or some playbooks here. And the first one that I put, for example, if you have a Python, if you develop a Python, a specific file that you need to access your device, you can use inside of the Ansible. Why? You can call or execute a command, and your code inside of Python, you can verify inside of the Ansible. So here it's a simple example about a hello or something like a sum on this. Then here it's a local host because I'm executing inside of the machine, the nodal control. Then there is a specific methodology that you need to put inside of this in order to access, in order to execute inside of the sudo. So here, I'm execute the code. So Ansible playbook, it's a command that you can execute. So Ansible playbook, and your project, it's a Python YAML, so you can verify the output. So here I have so there is OK, you can verify what the task do you have successfully. And another is change. So you have verify what's the environment or what's the definition that you have to make. So inside of this, the output is 5 because I verify a simple sum. So you have the output, it's 5. And the first one, it's only to print something inside of your environment. So here is another playbook that you can verify about the reachable devices. For example, when you execute the Python on the network device, sometimes the network is down or something like that. So you can verify by a ping, a simple ping, for example. If the device is OK, so I will go through and configure the device or verify something. Okay. Here, I just execute in some devices and verify that it has a problem. For example, here, I have 3 devices, and the 3 devices is OK, but 2 devices not OK. So in another task, I will only verify what the device is OK. So 3 devices, and then another device I have a problem, for example, so I don't execute the configuration on the device because it's not it's not good to make this. It's more quickly. So another example here that verify, for example, if the device is reachable, if the device it's the telnet port, it's okay or not, or SSH, it's okay or not. So this playbook will test if the device is reachable, if the device has a port of the telnet, it's working or not, or if the SSH. So keep the same 3 devices, it's okay. So, and then another task, I only verify if the SSH, and finish only one device that has totally. Because here I verify that those devices, it's not good. So the condition, it's false. Here I have only 3 devices that verify if the port 22, it's okay. So if the port, it's okay, the state is started. So I have information that the device has capability to accept. Oh, sorry. So the service is okay. So, and now I verify that telnet, you have a problem in 2 devices. Only one, it's okay. Then I finish and verify only one device, I can execute something inside of this. So here I have a playbook that use SNMP. So I don't access the device by telnet or SSH, just verify by SNMP. So I will get on the SNMP, get the OID, and verify what's the idea. Here, it's getting the OS information. For example, in this case, I have 3 different devices. So the first one, it's iOS, okay? So I have the version of the device. On the second one, I have a NXOS, the version, for example. And the last is XRV, so a different system operation. So I can work inside of this. If you access the device and you have the iOS, so I execute this configuration on the device. So it's more clear to verify your playbook, your configuration, or script inside of this. Here, for example, I don't know if you know Cisco, but I will enable SNMP by playbook. So I change the CDP, via SNMP. So 2 devices, it's okay. You don't have a problem, but just the one I able to CDP, via SNMP. So it's not enabled. Another playbook, there is more functions here because I verify the device family. So after that, I get the information inside of the CSV file. So you got all informations inside of the file. And after that, I create a specific script in order to apply on the configuration. So you have a different devices. So I got a variable and execute a different devices inside of this. So I execute a lookup in CSV. So in CSV, I have many informations there. So DHCP, it's true or false, for example. What's the IP address that I needed to put on the interface? And after that, I will execute inside of this. -e hosts, it's the environment file. So the environment file I will put inside of this that to verify what device I needed to execute. So the first one, I verify the family. So if you have a different device family, I have a skipping because it's not a condition that I put there. So get device model, for example, the interfaces or description or something like that of the device. After that, I execute inside of the iOS. So you have a skipping in another device family. So I get out the information about the device, model, interfaces, version. And the other, it's iOS XR. So skipping in not condition accept. Then I get the information inside of the Excel file and execute in different devices the configuration. So in my playbook, I just show, for example, the template configuration. So I have 3 scripts there. So there are different scripts when you execute, for example, on the device. On the first one, it's a CSR. And the next one, it's a NXOS. So I generate a template. And then another one, it's a iOS XR. So my Jinda template that I mentioned before, so you have some actions that need to execute on this. For example, DSCP is true. OK, so execute this. It's a false, so it's not necessary to implement on the device. And the loop, can you create inside of the Jinda? In this example, if you have a for, you create a loop on this, and if my loopback it's equal to 12, so I will implement on this. If not equal, so I skip it and verify another condition and verify another condition. So in this case, it's better to create your configuration or your script inside of the device. So guys, I'm not sure if you have some question. I have some minutes here. I know that the demo it's not friendly because I needed to go through and back on this case. But anyway, I don't know if you have some questions. I have some minutes. If you know, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Thank you, guys.